back in 2012 was when I put up my first video on YouTube, but I really didn't do anything with it. It kind of just sat there. And then back in December 2019, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna put up some real content and try to make a go with this. But then I realized, like, I had no branding set up for, well, anything on YouTube. So I needed a logo, some intros, some outros, maybe some stuff for transitions, whether I use it on YouTube or on Twitch. And I figured, you know what? Let's check out Fiverr. It's a way I can get some stuff done cheap, fairly quickly. It may not be something I use long term, it's not something I would use for an ongoing brand or ad campaign, but it's at least an option, so why not give it a look? And that's what we decided to do. For those of you that don't know what Fiverr is, it's basically this website where you can find somebody to do anything. So, if you don't know a guy, you can go there and kind of know a guy or girl or someone. Anyway, you go there, and if you want somebody to be a coach in a video game, or you need help with a resume, or in my case, where you need logos and outros, all of that can be found there. Sometimes as low as $5, but a lot of times you're going to pay 15, 20 bucks. But if you want to do full-blown large projects that are going to take like a week at a time or whatever, you can pay a couple $100. Like, they really have almost everything over there. The big thing is, though, I had some very specific needs as far as the logos. And then I decided, well, if I'm going to do that, let's go ahead and get the intros and outros done. So I went with 4 different users there, I guess content creators. Spent about 150 bucks and just figured I would gamble and see what I got. So let's take a look at it. Now, looking at these logos, the best part about it is that it was really, really close. They ended up getting really close in the feel, which is what I liked. It was playful, it's fun, easily identifiable as a dragon. The downsides, though, is like the logo didn't read right at like a quick glance. There was way too much detail, so we'd never be able to use this as a logo. It probably wouldn't look good as letterhead, anything like that. So if we wanted to put it on anything, say like a business card, you want it to be something that's easy to replicate, that doesn't have as much detail in it. But we did a follow-up. So we went back and forth, re-explained everything we needed, gave him a bunch of examples, and unfortunately, he went a little too literal and copied one of the examples a little too closely as far as the font style, the shape of the dragon, and ultimately we ended up much further away than where we started, and that was super disappointing. So after going back and forth, we couldn't really get on the same page as far as what we'd want for another revision. I already had one of the other options come through very well and hit the mark, so I just decided, you know what, I don't need it. And ultimately what I decided is he did put in a lot of time, so we split the difference. I got a $12 refund, he kept the difference, and it was fine. This next logo, though, was very good. The first thing he delivered, though, looked like this. And it was not great. But I will say, the art style was cool, the colors were on point, and I actually liked the font. The problem is the image itself didn't read enough like a dragon. Like, it could have been a demon for all we know. Not cool. And it looked a little more menacing than happy, almost like it was cackling, which is not the feel we wanted to go for on a family-friendly channel. We're not overly competitive or anything like that, and I think his initial thought was he was going more toward that very serious esports logo, and I just kind of wanted like the essence of an esports logo without having the actual logo. So the second attempt came out much better, and that's what we use on the channel today. It reads well, it looks like a dragon, he's smiling, it's got glasses, which is one of the things I requested because, I wear glasses, so why not? Though I'll probably be on contacts more often. Well, anyway, he met all the marks, so we totally went with it, got it provided both with and without the nameplate on it, so this way I was able to use it as a watermark and have further branding opportunities with the logo. Now I went with 2 different people to produce the intros and outros. I had each of them make an attempt at both. So looking here at the first stuff that was thrown my way as far as an intro, this is what we got. And it looks really cool. Uh, Truth be told, I actually really like the look. I like the style. The problem is, they ended up having the channel name on there twice, which read a little weird, and it's just too long. I mean, 16 seconds is not what I want for an intro or transition. I would only want a longer intro if it included, I don't know, some personal imagery or something else to kind of carry you through. And if I was doing a style where I always opened with the intro, then I probably would go that way. And they came back with this. And honestly, that was a fair option. I didn't hate it, thought it was cool. I may even use it from time to time. And I got it with both just gaming and review on it, so if I want to use it for a different opportunity, and that was great. And then we got the other follow-up product that we had requested, and this intro is the one we use today. And I dig it. I think it's really clean. I even like the style of music and the sound. It sounds a little older, which I like the transition. And it fades in and out real easily, and it's easy to read, and it's short, only 6 seconds. So I really dig that. Now, both of these creators ended up coming back and giving me something for outros as well. So let's take a look at the two of those. Ultimately, I like them both. This is where I think both parties delivered a product that we could use. They were both clean, they both met the marks. The reality of it when it's all said and done is just that I liked the second one a little bit more from its cleaner aesthetic, mostly because the other one could be a little busy, and I'm not sure I'm always going to want that depending on what type of video I'm doing. But it's cool that I have two different options, that if at any point I do something lively or whatever, it's fitting, I could go to the other one. So all that being said, where does that leave us? Well, all told, I would have been in for about $150 for all of that. I ended up being only out about $138 because I got a little bit of a refund, which is fine. You know, we had an issue with that first logo where we just couldn't get right, and we decided to split the difference. So would I recommend somebody else do this? Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have a big budget and you don't know the full direction you're going to go, or you just need something to get started with, then yeah, I would absolutely do it. I think there's something that makes your channel look better when you have matching colors, branding, logos, things that just you can put on a banner. It just makes you stand out and look better and more professional. Just like, you know, a good visual, nice sound audio. I think this is just one more thing, especially as you start talking about treat it like a business. At some point, you're going to want to send out emails, or you're going to want to hand out business cards or whatever it is. And then you can have something that kind of brings your whole brand together. And if there's other stuff you wanted, they could do that too. If you want overlays for your Twitch channel. For me personally, I wouldn't do something like that, as I would want something more personal or something that's just already pre-packaged I could get elsewhere. But on something like my emojis, I went to an individual that I met through somebody else on Twitter. And that's because I wanted something personal that looked more like me, that I could kind of go back and forth with them on, give more ideas. And then in the future, I may want some other ones done, and this is a person I know I could reach out to get that done, so I have a uniform look. Problem is, when you come back later on, somebody you worked with on Fiverr may not be there in the future. So you can't really rely on that person necessarily. Some people do this in very short stints just to make some extra money or to get by. They're not necessarily doing this as a full-time job. So that's one thing to consider. The other is that you still want to support the arts. I mean, if you have other people in your community, friends, whatever, that are just going to do higher quality, just better stuff, and they can be there and be part of your business and partner with you, I would more likely do that. Like, even here moving forward, if I do any major changes, I'm probably going to partner with somebody locally and really go the distance with them so they understand the business and what I'm doing. But for something for the short term or for one shots, this is totally the way to go. The turnaround on all this stuff was maybe a week's time, so not bad at all. There wasn't much waiting. Even after the revisions, most of them came back in 2 or 3 days. So I would highly recommend this. But yeah, give it a look, check it out. I don't know if I got lucky, but this turned out well for me. Granted, I got some pieces I'm probably not going to use that I paid for, but that's fine. It was still good work. I didn't mind paying for it. And ultimately, I got some really cool stuff that looks sharp here on the channel. So I'm digging it. Anyway, let me know what you think. Have any of you used Fiverr or have any thoughts or anything to go with it? I'd like to hear other people's experiences to see if it was a nightmare or not. Out of 4 people I worked with, only one really had an issue not delivering what I wanted. So I'll take it. And it was one of the cheaper ones. So anyway, that's it. Remember to hit the subscribe and like buttons for me because that helps me out a lot. And we'll see you next time.